You know, last time I reviewed one of these VOD Bruce Willis movies, it was Gasoline Alley, which really wasn't that bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Then they couldn't even wait a whole month for another one. No. The movie A Day to Die had to come in and say, wait, hold on, we got one here that's terrible. In A Day to Die, a former special ops member played by Kevin Dillon saves a parolee from being killed by a gang member, but I guess the crime boss Leon is really protective of his henchmen, so he's like, hey, that guy could have brought in millions of dollars over the next 20 years, so I've kidnapped your pregnant wife, and you have 1 day to get me $2 million. Here's a treasure map leading to a drug house that you can steal the money from. Oh, and they do. He gets his old team back together where they raid the drug house and shoot anyone and anything that moves dead. And I mean anything, like when they shoot the drugs too. Yeah, take that, drugs. Just say die. This is a movie that instantly gives you a headache, like in its opening credit sequence that just post-production edits shaky cam in to, I don't know, distract you that Frank Grillo and Bruce Willis aren't in the same room together. And then it'll get confusing about it too. Just as I've grabbed a couple of aspirin to get through it, it'll be edited like this. Why the hell did that just happen? Maybe I shouldn't get too mad. It is edited slightly better than the last Frank Grillo Bruce Willis movie I saw, Reprisal.
Keep working, old man.
I'll take you anytime, punk.
This movie is a weird sit because it has sequences where sometimes the explosion effects are good, sometimes the blood splatters are okay, and then in the very same sequences, suddenly it'll start looking like a freaking cartoon. And I think they may have run out of a lot of their money when the climax tries doing the robbery sequence from Heat, only with the budget of one of these VOD flicks. It doesn't look good. They can't even put a red dot on someone's head. They have to put it in later. Why? It's jarring, where again, there will be okay shootouts, but then some punching scenes will look bad, like when Kevin Dillon starts fighting like Popeye. And that won't even be the funniest parts of some of these sequences. Because this is one where sometimes it does cross over into unintentionally hilarious territory. Like when an explosion graciously saves Kevin Dillon's life by blasting him out the window and safely onto the grass.
No!
I guess there is some slight consistency to it. Not only does Bruce Willis feel inserted in, but so does everyone else, honestly. Frank Grillo will turn up here and there and conveniently disappear from some of the bigger sequences. When they're all getting the band back together, one guy is just on a firing range where he and his girlfriend just start banging on a picnic table surrounded by beer bottles. Even old Wilhelm is inserted into this. I will say this though, Bruce Willis does get to say a little more in this one. In Gasoline Alley, there was one scene where he just says, yeah, a few times. But here, he gives a minor speech at a podium. And even he starts acting like this is all stupid, like when he's frustrated about Leon shooting up shit, so he calls him.
Yeah.
The fuck did you do?
When?
Fucking jerk off.
Okay, there was a tiny bit of the old Bruce there. Like, we got about 5% of the classic smarmy Bruce Willis charm. I like one part where he goes, what? I'm doing this evil stuff because I'm the boss, that's why. Then has to react to an explosion like this. Totally looking at an explosion, you guys. I think most people in this don't really know the context of their dialogue because they feel less like characters and more like a group of actors who got together to drunk sing with each other.
They call the rising sun.
But if there's one person who does stand out, it is Leon. who comes in like an old Fred Williamson movie, only this is less Black Caesar or Hell Up in Harlem, and more like a bad 90s direct-to-video action movie. He may have the best performance here, but he's saddled with some of the funniest parts. Like one scene where he goes to drop off a bag of money to the family of the dead henchman to cover their expenses. Oh sweet, a bag full of $1 bills. How can I ever repay you? And he's just stupid too. Like when he kidnaps the wife, gets up to use the restroom, and she's able to escape by just tipping over and slipping out of the fold-out chair they tied her to. As dumb as it is, I think it's trying to be deep sometimes, like when it starts commenting on race and fentanyl and crooked cops. But it's about as deep as when Top Dog was about domestic terrorism. Want to know how subtle it is? Look at this burnt-out character's reaction to the mission going wrong. He's very much haunted by demons, like when he shoots up in the restroom and gets a disapproving look from a kid standing outside the stall. I honestly have no idea if that was supposed to be a ghost or not. The movie's also too damn long. It feels like it's over at the 80-minute mark, but goes on for 25 more minutes. Because, oh, Bruce is the bad guy again, even though he doesn't do anything that's any worse than what the heroes do. Our heroes shoot up random security guards and random cops, and I'm sorry, they can't all be crooked. Like I said, with its inconsistent effects, stupid character decisions, and bad dialogue.
You hear? Being all prudish and shit.
Actually being all pregnant and shit.
It almost crosses over into entertainingly bad territory. But it's still a mess with several different plots, ideas, and characters that it's definitely a D. The only thing that could salvage this era of Bruce Willis movies is if they make one that's about how this is the same character in each movie, and it's like a Quantum Leap knockoff situation where he has to leap from unrelated plot to unrelated plot to affect the story somehow. That'd be kind of genius. I'm sure I'll be back soon with another one of these, but check out our Cinema Snob episode on the much better action-sploitation movie Thunder Warrior, and we'll see you next time.